Let's go to the word of the Lord. I want to summon your senses and invite your intellect to the book of Acts, chapter number 12. The book of Acts, chapter 12. I want to begin reading at verse number 1. Acts chapter 12, verse number 1. The Bible should read, now about that time Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, and he killed James the brother of John with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him. And when Herod would have brought him forth, the same night Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and the keepers before the door kept the prison. And behold, the angel of the Lord came unto him, and a light shined in the prison. And he smote Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, Arise up quickly. And his chains fell off his hands. The angel said unto him, Gird yourself and bind on your sandals. And so he did. And he says unto him, Cast your garment about you and follow me. And he went out and followed him, and did not know that it was true which was done by the angel, but thought he saw a vision. When they were past the first and the second ward, they came unto the iron gate that leads unto the city, which opens to them of his own accord. And they went out and passed on through one street, and forthwith the angel departed from him. And when Peter was come to himself, he said, Now I know of a surety that the Lord has sent his angel, and has delivered me out of the hand of Herod, and from all the expectation of the people of the Jews. I want to tag this text, The Great Escape. You may be seated in the Lord's church. You and I already know that no word in a pericope of passage is there for no reason. Every word in a passage has some connection to the revelation and exegesis of that particular passage. And the insight of this passage is not in the miracle. The insight of this passage is in the first 4 words of chapter 12. Now about that time. If we understand the indication of the terms of time, it allows us to step into this passage with respect and with proper attitude. Now about that time helps us to understand that if we don't get those 4 words, we miss the whole context. The question now arises, what time? Now about that time forces us to come to a resolve that we cannot understand this passage forward until we see it backwards. Now about what time? This passage has an open door in chapter 11. It does not open in chapter 12. It opens in chapter 11. What time? What was happening? Two significant things happened in chapter 11 that brought about chapter 12. First thing that happened in chapter 11 is that it was an enormous revival. So much so that it was the first time that these infant followers of Jesus were called Christians. The place called Antioch. The second significant thing that happened was that this new society of believers in Jesus Christ called Christians provided significant support to the people of Judah during a famine. Let me sum it up for you. Now about that time is a collection of 4 words that sum up a whole chapter. And it was about that time that the church was saving lives and impacting the community. The church just did not have an evangelistic goal. They had a missional goal. They were not just gathering to shout, but they were changing the community in which they were conceived. 2 significant things happened about that time. The saints were changing lives. Souls were being saved. Respect was being gained. And the community was being impacted. Let me give it to you another way. It was about that time that the church wasn't just glorifying God, but the church was invading the territory of the enemy. And its impact wasn't just felt in its gathering. Its impact was felt in its community. And it was about that time that Herod stepped up and said, we've got to stop these Jesus people from changing the community. I'll try it again. The church isn't being the church until it gets the attention of government. The church isn't being the church until its impact is responded with attack. What I'm trying to tell you, church, is that the world doesn't care that you come into church as long as you stay in church. But the minute you come out of church and start affecting the world, now your impact will be countered with attack. And it's possible if you're not under attack, it's because you're not making impact. Let me try it one more time. The world is not threatened by the fact that you got dressed, got in your car, drove cross town, gassed your car up, came to church to stay inside this sacred portal and shout Jesus for 4 hours. They could care less. But when you get in your car, put gas in your car, take Jesus to your job, take him to the laundromat, take him to the barbershop, take him to the area where the homeless are, take him to the places where the church needs to be impacted. Now your impact will be countered with attack. And it is evident that your impact means nothing if it's not countered with attack. Translated, ladies and gentlemen, if you play football, nobody's threatened by you if you ain't got the ball. But the person who got the ball is the person everybody is trying to hit. Lord, I can't get no help here. It's too late for y'all to wait on me all night. I'm coming at you right now. Can I suggest to you that maybe you are under attack on your job because you make an impact? Maybe you under attack in the church because you make an impact. Maybe you are under attack in your family because you make an impact. And those people who know how to make impact are people God equips for the attack. Such is the discipline discovered in the discourse. Acts chapter 12. It is at that time the church is saving souls and impacting needs in the community that the president, Herod, stands up and said, we got to stop them Jesus people from progressing and changing the community. Now you got to keep in mind, by the time we get to Acts chapter 12, the church is an infant society. They don't have elaborate churches and sanctuaries, and they ain't even got much money. They just know the power of unity. Lord have mercy. And when they got together and didn't fight each other, but they got together and made impact in their community, that's when Herod rises up. He is historically Herod Agrippa the First. And the Herods, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a name, it's a title. It's a title given to the presidential authority who was the governor over Jerusalem. And the problem with Herod is that he is a member of a family of devils.
They wicked, Doc. They wicked, Doc. Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 2, the patriarch and granddaddy, Herod the Great, called for an infanticide, hoping that the baby Jesus would be among the casualties. Matthew chapter 14, his son Herod Antipas was the one who called for the beheading and the decapitation of John the Baptist. Matthew chapter 26 and 27, Herod Antipas also supervised the kangaroo trial of Jesus Christ. And now the grandson, Herod Agrippa I, in Acts chapter 12, is now facilitating the death of James, the difficulty of the saints, and the detainment of Peter. Preach, Pastor Moore. I'm going to try it again. Matthew chapter 2, the granddaddy was trying to kill the baby Jesus. Matthew chapter 14, the son killed the cousin of Jesus. Matthew chapter 26, he also officiates this injustice trial of Jesus. And now the grandson, Herod Agrippa I, is now attacking the disciples of Jesus. I'm going to try it again. You're not feeling what I'm saying. Matthew chapter 2, the granddaddy trying to kill baby Jesus. Matthew chapter 14, the son is trying to behead the cousin of Jesus and officiate the injustice trial of Jesus. Acts chapter 12, the grandson is now trying to kill the disciples of Jesus. And we see, ladies and gentlemen, apparently there is a Herod for every generation of Jesus followers. Whenever anybody's doing anything for Jesus, expect a Herod to rise up. Preach, Pastor Morgan. As a matter of fact, it ain't just one Herod, it's a family of them. Okay, now everybody look this way. Everybody look this way. Don't look around. Everybody look this way. Everybody look this way. In us's church, Typically, when hell break out in us as church, is somebody from the same family. Your grandmama was a hell raiser. Her children was a hell raiser for the last pastor. And the current pastor, he got problems from the grandchildren. Typically, when hell breaks out in us as church, it's the same family. Don't look around. Everybody look this way. Because every church got a family of Herods. Every pastor got a family of Herods. Everybody on assignment from Jesus got a Herod somewhere, and it's generational. And brother pastors, that's why God won't take your Herod. Because your Herod confirms how effective you are as a pastor. Because if Herod is around, he is evidence that you're making progress. If Herod is there, he's evidence that Jesus got his hand on you. Because hell ain't bothered with you if you're not a threat to the advancement of God's kingdom. Check out what this one does. He inflicts, his agenda, church, is to silence the saints through suffering. That's his agenda. To silence the saints through suffering. And he does it three ways. Number one, he uses dictatorship, according to verse 1, to vex certain of the saints. That word vex in its etymology means to injure. He picks certain people out the church to inflict injury. Then he steps out of dictatorship and actually executes death. He kills one of Jesus' inner circle partners in the person of James. He assassinates him and then steps out of dictatorship and death into difficulty and detainment by arresting and imprisoning their first pastor. His name is Peter, because the enemy understands that it's easier to take out all by afflicting the head. So he attacks the first bishop, and the first bishop got a criminal record. And his crime is preaching. He went to jail for preaching. He didn't go to no conference for preaching. He didn't go to seminary just for preaching. His preaching put him in jail because his preaching was a threat to the enemy, and you can't be a threat to the enemy if you just preach in church. I'm doing the best I can. Whenever you're a real threat, it's because the call on your life is impeding the work of the enemy. And it got to respond some kind of way. He arrests him, and this time puts him under maximum security. I'm in the Bible. The Bible says they assign 4 quaternions of soldiers. I thought y'all could read the Bible in open. Can I do the math for you? It means they assigned 16 soldiers to one man. It got worse. They chained him to soldiers. They put one on his left arm and one on his right arm, and then put 2 more soldiers in front of the dungeon where they locked him down at to the soldiers he was locked to. They assigned 16 soldiers to a preacher so they could run a rotation of trying to afflict
the preacher. They get him in jail, y'all. And while he's in jail, the church members have prayer meeting. I'm going to try this one more again. And while the pastor was in prison, the church members didn't put him out. The church members didn't call a meeting to try to put him out and send him somewhere else. They went in prayer. Okay. Y'all gonna act funny? Isn't it strange, y'all, how you want your pastor to pray you out of trouble, but when he get in trouble, you want to put him out? Isn't it strange how we got selective compassion in the Lord's church, that when other people get in trouble, you want the law, but when you get in trouble, you want grace? They didn't try to put the pastor out. They went in prayer. And now introduces to us the theological tension of this passage. While their pastor is in prison, Bible says the members had prayer meeting. You didn't get it, so I tried again. Within the historical context of the death of James, the difficulty to the saints, and the detainment of Peter, the members went and talked to the God who is the real reason why they pastor in trouble. I'm going to try it one more time. He got in trouble for preaching God's gospel, and all that is happening historically is making Christianity look like it's not worth it to be a Christian. Because if this what the end of Christianity looks like, I don't want to be a Christian. The enemy's job is to make Christianity look like it ain't worth it. And while they're trying it, the saints say we're going to pray. Y'all missed it. Sometimes, church, praying ain't about answers. Praying is letting the enemy know I ain't quitting. Have I got any help in here of somebody who would just tell the enemy, no matter how you afflict God's church, I'm still going to church, I'm still going to shout, I'm still going to give him the glory, and I ain't quitting on God. Sometimes you got to shout just to show the devil, I'm still here, I'm not giving up, I'm not quitting. No matter what you do to me, I will bless the Lord. Not sometimes, but at all. Would you touch one person, tell them, neighbor, I ain't quitting. I don't care what they do to me, I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up on God, no matter how bad they try to make the church sound, no matter how I try to make the church look, I'm not quitting on Jesus. And while they were in prayer, check the text, y'all. Check the text. Peter is in prison, sleep. And while he's asleep, they're having prayer meeting at an undisclosed location that he don't know about. And while they're having prayer meeting, God dispatches an angel to the prison where they praying for Peter at somebody else's house. I'll try it one more again. They having prayer meeting at somebody else's house about their pastor who's in jail. And while they're praying, they don't know that while they're praying, God has dispatched an angel to the prison. I'm going to try it one more again. They having prayer meeting and talking to God at somebody's house. And while they're talking to God, God dispatches an angel to the prison, but they don't know he's dispatched an angel to the prison. They talking to him, and while they're talking to him, he's already handling the issue while they're talking to him. Y'all still acting slow, so let me give you the theology. Here it is, y'all. God ain't got to wait till you finish praying to answer your prayer. God can answer your prayer before you finish praying, and while you're talking to him, he's already answered your prayer. I serve a God who is quicker than your finish. Do I got anybody in here that will testify that God will get to it before you finish praying? It just makes sense. Can I tell you why it makes sense? Because he said, I know what you have need of before you ask it. So if he know what you got need of before you ask it, he don't have to wait until you ask it to get it done. Pastor, here's what text teaches us.
Tolan.
We got to embrace a new theology about prayer.
Talk to me, man.
We got to embrace a new theology about prayer. Because they prayed,
Yes, sir.
but Peter didn't come out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Doc.
The prayer was not to get Peter out. The prayer was to get God in. Still slow. The prayer, Peter was still in jail. And God went in the prison where he was at. Because sometimes prayer is not about getting you out. It's getting God to come into the situation. Y'all remember them 3 Hebrew boys in Daniel chapter 3? They didn't come out. God went in. You remember Daniel in the lion's den? He didn't come out before God went in. You remember when you were sick on your hospital bed? You didn't come out before God stepped in. When he come in the situation, won't he change it? Maybe your prayer ain't God get me out.
God, come on in.
Maybe your prayer is God, come on in this situation. And the Lord sent an angel to where they was praying about, but not where they were praying. They were praying in one location, Bishop. And while they're talking to God, God, he's already handling the situation. He sends an angel in that prison. Marty Peters, this is my problem with this text. Y'all like the Bible over there? That's okay. Y'all like the Bible? Thank you. Let me talk to y'all. They acting funny tonight. Come here. Come here. The angel goes into prison. And the first thing he does is cut the light on. I'm in the Bible, Zach. Text says he shows up in the prison and a light shines in the prison. Here's the problem, Marty Peters. Peter is asleep. He doesn't see the light. He's asleep. The first people who see the light are the soldiers. They can't go to sleep because they on duty. Y'all gonna get this in a minute. So the light didn't show up to get Peter out. The light showed up to free him from people who are chained to him. Ladies and gentlemen, God had to get Peter out of this prison by first getting Peter away from people he's chained to. Because he could have walked out the prison if it wasn't for the people he was chained to. Y'all acting so slow. The prison ain't your problem. The problem is the people you chained to that won't let you get out. You will come out of your prison when you break away from restrictive relationships. You bound not because of the place you in, but the people you connected to. You could have got out a long time ago, but you bound by a restrictive relationship. And your prison is defined by the people you connected to. If you want to discern your prison, evaluate your relationships. Bishop, he could have just walked out the prison if it wasn't for the people he's chained to. But the glory showed up to free him from people. Oh, have mercy. Thank you, Holy Ghost. That's God's word for somebody in here tonight. Tonight, you're going to get free from a relationship that won't let you move forward. Because any relationship that restricts your forward motion is slavery. You would have been out already if it wasn't for who you was tied to.
True.
Peter's asleep. He don't see the light. As a matter of fact, the text says the angel got to wake him up.
That's what the text say, Doc.
And by the time he wakes up, the chains are off. Y'all so slow. I know why you're struggling with this text tonight, because you still asleep. God got to wake you up because the door is already open, the chains are off, but you don't know it because you're so busy being stuck in something God done already freed you from. Amen. Wake up. You're free now. I have a concern. Would y'all not rush me? I waited on y'all. Would y'all not rush me tonight? I got a concern. Brother Minister, I got a concern. They was getting ready to kill Peter the next day. And he celebrates his known last night on earth sleeping. Now, y'all spiritual. I'm not talking to you deep people who just came out your tarrying closet today. I want to talk to the real people who testify. If you told me I had one last night to live on this earth, I'm going to do everything you church folks wouldn't let me do. I'm going to the club. I'm going to the casino. I'm going to do everything. I knew you weren't going to be saved because, see, y'all acting funny. So let me talk to the real people who testify. You give me one last night here, I'm doing everything. The last thing I'm going to do is sleep. Because when you kill me, I got plenty of time to rest. Hey, Peter. Hey, buddy. They told you this was it for you now. Why you sleep? I'm sleep, Dr. Bernstein, because Jesus already told me how I was going to die. In John chapter 21, verse 18, Jesus told Peter, you're going to live to be old. And you're going to live to be so old, you're going to have to help somebody to put clothes on you. So apparently Peter gets to sleep in Acts chapter 12 because he knows whatever they do to me, this ain't what Jesus said. I wish I had some Bible students right here who testify whatever the enemy says, that ain't God's last word. So you rest tonight. Stop worrying about it and go to sleep. High five three people, tell them, neighbor, go to sleep. Stop worrying about it. This ain't God's destiny for you. This is not the end for you. Go tonight and rest and know it's in the Lord's hands. I rebuke every spirit of depression in this house. I rebuke high blood pressure and stress. Popping pills because you can't sleep at night. The devil is a lie. God did not give you the spirit of fear, but power and a sound mind. Put it in the Lord's hands and go to sleep. Hey, glory. Hey, bud, let's go. I'll try to finish this sermon another time. Would you just tap somebody and tell them, neighbor, it's your night to rest. And all people who know how to rest are free to give him praise. Grab your neighbor by the hand and tell them, neighbor, the preacher closing now. I feel the Holy Ghost in here. Anybody here know you're going to rest tonight? That's the great escape. Is it anybody in here grateful tonight that God is bringing you out in a way you don't even know how? And because you got a great escape, you can rest blessed tonight? Anybody here thankful tonight that you can get up and go to sleep tonight? Can I find my exit in here? I said, can I find my exit in here? The Bible says that when Peter got out, he didn't know that he was out until God brought him out. Y'all slept on it. The Bible says that God brought him out, but he didn't understand how he got up until he was already out. So here's my notice to you. If you see somebody giving God praise, they're only giving him praise because they know they're out. If you see somebody run tonight, they're only giving him a run because they know they're out, because bound people don't know how to be quiet. I said free people don't know how to be quiet. Free people don't know how to shut up. Free people don't know how to sit down. Free people don't know how to sit still. But let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Put your arm around somebody. Woo, I feel God in here. Put your arm around somebody and tell them, neighbor, can I show you a sign that I know I'm free? I won't shut up. I won't sit down. I won't be quiet. But I'm going to get on your nerves because he whom the Son has set free is free indeed. Anybody in here free tonight? If you've been set free, act like you're free. If you've been set free, praise him like you're free. Here's the good news. If you receive Jesus, it comes with automatic freedom. I said it comes with automatic freedom because the preacher said I was in the prison and God brought me out. But that's the same thing they did to Jesus. They arrested him for being a good preacher. They put him through trial for being a good preacher. They put him in jail and they killed him for being a good preacher. But on Sunday morning, I understand why they attacked him, because even the enemy knows you can't hold a good preacher down. Even the enemy knows you can't hold a good Christian down. Put your arm around somebody and tell them, neighbor, I'm evidence that God can raise you up. I'm evidence that God can set you free. Now let everything, I said let everything that's got breath, I said let everything that's been set free open your mouth and make the sound of freedom. If there's anybody on your road that look like they're not free, I need you, if you got faith, to just walk over to them and lay your hand on them and tell them, in the name of Jesus, be delivered and be set free. If they look like they sad, lay your hands on them and tell them, neighbor, I can't let you sit on my pew and be down. I can't let you sit next to me and be not free. But in Jesus' name, rise up and walk. Anybody glad that you got some risen people? If he's raised you up, open your mouth and give him glory. Yeah. Listen, church. Pastor, may I? Listen, church. Listen to me. You can't be so deep that you're not sensitive to the Holy Spirit. The Spirit of the Lord has turned this matter. Y'all know what today is? Today is the National Day of Prayer. And the central element of this text tonight and the church went in prayer and jails were open. And the church went in prayer. Souls were saved. Communities were impacted. And while they prayed, God was already handling it while they prayed. I need y'all to do this quickly. Partner with one person quickly anywhere in this church. You can stand in the aisles. You can come out of your pew. You find you a prayer spot. And let's let the church go back to prayer. When is the last time you had a prayer revival? When is the last time the saints have just gathered together just to pray? Wherever we see demonstrations of power in the Bible, it was preceded by prayer. And we're going to break Van Hook. We're going to break the stigma that we do more of everything else but pray. And the church prayed. I want you to start praying for that person whose hand you hold, and don't do it quietly. Don't do it quietly. And the church prayed. And there was a great escape. And the church prayed. And breakthrough happened. And the church prayed. And the glory fell. A light fell where they were praying. The glory fell where they were praying. Angels were released when the church prayed. The power of God was released when the church prayed. People who were bound came out when the church prayed. I feel your God in this house. Oh my God. I feel your glory in this house. for your glory. Glory. Healing is being released. Power is being released. And while you're talking to him, he's already working on what you're talking to him about.